The PSA AKV, such an icon based on the Russian Special Forces Vityaz. And I've had it for many years now since it actually came out. It always seems to work. Oh man, I totally forgot. Oh, yep. Silly me. Oh man. You know how it is. No, this isn't your ordinary old PSA AKV. This is actually a new development by Stuffin' Things Inc. This is the PP-19 Bizon, aka the Stizon, and this is based on the mid-90s design for Russia. All right, made at the Ishmash factory in Russia, the Bizon. All right, so that is still in production today. The designers were Viktor Klishnikov, which you might recognize at least that last name, and then Alexei Dragunov. It's based on a helical designed magazine, and that's the big part of this whole thing that Stuffin' Things had to develop, was to get this magazine right. In fact, the first kit that I ended up getting to utilize here with the AKV had some parts that were out of spec. All right, so essentially I got some new parts in, and of course this is a brand new product out there, right? So I got some new stuff in to fix, and we'll show close up here in a little bit on how this works. But it simply just locks in like so, has a mag catch like that, and it is an absolute blast. The PP-19 Bizon is still being used by the Russian military, as well as some other militaries out there and police forces. And that helical magazine has been utilized in other firearm designs in the past, and it has its inherent issues, as you can imagine, with how it's designed and how it runs. And that kind of attributes to a lot of maybe the things you might hear about these types of firearms that utilize a helical type magazine. One of the big things is, though, you do lose that mag catch on here, because the AKV usually has a mag catch, and you also have to have the rounds cranked down just a little bit in order to make that mag catch happen, and that goes along with the military issued one as well. I like to hold it like this, but obviously hold like this, handguard, whichever. Super accurate as an AKV is. You can get the hand guards, you can get the magazines separate, you can get the whole kit together. It's made for a variety of 9mm type AKs. And how it works is actually it hooks on the front of this hand guard that is proprietary, and it looks just like the original PP-19. And there's actually a latch here, and I'll show you a close up on the table on how this all works in a second. That latch hits the bottom of the frame and pulls that whole coil to push and have that whole torsion. It's not really tension, it's like a torsion, right? So that's why you can't just hit it to push down around. You're not pushing at all. It's actually sliding back. Such an interesting design. Remember that mag catch doesn't work anymore? Super accurate. This is actually the SLX MD25 from Primary Arms on top. And then occasionally you will get some issues, and actually, and I'll show you right here, again, this is something I think related to the actual PP-19 Bizon as well. Occasionally we'll have something with a feed ramp where it won't load it all the way in, and it's actually just because the way the mag is designed. I mean, it's going into an insert in there like that, and if you hold it just right and hold it down, it works really, really well. And in fact, another thing was the mag catch I originally got was a little bit too short. So even if you kind of, and even mentioned in the install to kind of help shave it and clean it up, but because every AK and AKV or what have you, they're all different animals on how you kind of put parts together. An AK is a totally different animal from an AR, but this one is almost perfect. However, it sometimes gets stuck going back in, and that might be I need to shave the sides down a little bit. It just has a little bit of kind of resistance there. So I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that, but look, see the mag catch gets kind of stuck there, and that's something where you could just go and shave it. And there's a whole bunch of videos out there on their website where, because look, if you hit it hard, it goes back, but sometimes it just gets a little bit hung up there, and that's something where you need to go and adjust your particular AK to make it fit. Let's go over to the table over here, or the tailgate rather, and let me show you how this all works. Traditionally, with an AKV, which I've done some updates to mine overall in the last few years or so, you have a handguard up here, which has nothing to do with the magazine, right? It's just a handguard up here. Magazine well, it's a block right about there. And on the other side, it does have a mag catch as well, so you can have a bolt hold open, and then you'd run magazines like this Magpul one right here, right? These are all standard capacity. You can look that up, so YouTube just know these are all standard capacity. I think about 24 rounds or so. But you get, again, look this up, guys, if you want to look up a little more details on the capacity on these right here. But YouTube, if you're watching, we're good. How this works is, take this out here. Normally I'm going from the other side. You have your magazine, and you can see that now you have the entire block missing for that mag well, right? And you have a hook up front here, and there's a nice video on Stuff and Things Inc. on their website. You can kind of see how this is all done. And also on the end here is a true to form flash hider. Now the only thing is this one doesn't pin with the AKV. Some of the other models it does pin, I believe, with that compression spring right there. But you just need to crank it down, maybe do some Loctite on there. But that's kind of fun to have a little traditional looking flash hider for the PP-19 Bizon there. There is your blowback action up there. Now the magazine is just part of it. All right, so when you get this in, this whole kit, one of the big issues again was this mag catch. Each mag catch is different. And with this one, it gets a little stuck sometimes, but honestly, I was thinking about filing it. I did not have to file the length this time. I was about filing the sides to make sure that it works, but I think the more I use it, the more it's going to break in, which is a big part of anything with AKs. You want to kind of run it, it kind of breaks in. It's like a, you know, a nice luxury vehicle, right? Until you get rid of it. And then with this, it just kind of starts to break in a little bit and latches on to the back right here. Now, things that were out of spec when I first got my first kit were the actual feed right here, this feed lips right here, this catch right here was out of spec, and then the actual mag catch was out of spec. So trial and error, this is a brand new product. Now I think they're finally getting this fine-tuned, and in fact I think PSA is picking up the product itself to run with their AKVs, so they should have a bunch of these kits in as well. All right, so that's that. So it's real simple to get these in there, kind of get it over. It took me maybe 10 minutes to switch all this out. Let's talk about the magazine here for a second. So this is a, you know, a helical magazine, right? So what that means is the rounds feed this way, right? So they come and they're all in lines here. You can kind of see there's the red followers. You can look down there, there's some lines in there. You can see that. And these simply just crank down, and this is clicking. And then when you load this up, this whole thing pops up and starts feeding the rounds. So what you typically would do is load a few rounds at a time, give it a little shake. I usually go back and forth to make sure that it actually slides down level straight, and then go another few more rounds, a couple more clicks, right? A few more rounds, and so on and so forth. Now, when you do hit that button, or if you're gonna hit this into the magwell, and then it goes, or lack thereof magwell, once you get that in there and this depresses, all right, that is when the rounds come up to the top here. This will spin really fast as well, so you don't want to have your fingers around there. And then there's a nice big locking point there for the lug for the front of the mag, and you're welcome to hold the magazine there. It's not going to get hot. You can hold the top handguard. That handguard doesn't get too hot either. I've been kind of shooting this and messing around with it quite a bit. Now, how you load this, again, there are a variety of videos out there already through Stuff and Things. You can kind of check those out from all the install perspective, right? So I can't show that on YouTube, so YouTube, we're just going to show how to properly utilize this magazine in a safe manner. How you load this is you simply click it a couple times, 2-3 times. I usually wait till that round, so about 3 clicks, is disappeared, right? So it just is not shown, and the first round locks in there. Second round, third round, and remember, there's no tension on this. This is a torsion thing, right? Click, click, make sure it's gone. A few more rounds. So really 3 rounds at a time, I think, is probably the safe bet. Throw one more in there to show you. Now, if you left it where you can see around, you can see brass, okay? Here's the problem. You carry this around, you get a spare mag, whatever, it's gonna fall out. So what is suggested is click it one more until you can't see the rounds, all right? And that's key, because when you pick up your AKV and you lock the front in like this, and you go to insert the mag like so, it's going to activate this lever and start dragging that back so it can go and lock in when it's in place, and it's going to push against this right here and run all of the rounds nice up to the top there, and that lever, as long as is enough wiggle room in there to close, will latch on to the back of this mag. And it's honestly, it's a good lock up there. It's kind of wobbly a little bit, but that is just because it is a large opening for the AKV. And that is something, again, I think any kind of woes you might have with a helical magazine has been woes with the original design 30 years ago. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, there's other firearm designs that have tried to utilize this, and it has just been iffy at best. But this is the closest we've ever come in America, I think, to be able to get these type of kits and having your own Bizon ready to go. You know, from a tactical standpoint, what I've read were these were issued with 1 PP-19 Bizon and 1 magazine. So from a standpoint of winding these up and then not hitting that button, right, because you have like 4 of these lined up on a chest rig or something, I just don't think there's much to that, really. I don't know how tactical these are being utilized. In fact, most likely, they're just issued that 1 magazine, which is pretty standard for Russia, I think.
When the one with a rifle gets killed, the one who is following picks up the rifle and shoots.
And then they just run with that. I think it's like police forces, you know, kind of like state police for them, whatever that might be, special forces potentially. It's really just here's your mag and go. If you guys are interested in learning more about this, learning more about anything you've seen in this video, I do have my website up and running, so that'll be linked down below with the parts list if you want to check that out. This is not a quick reload by any means. I think if you race yourself with a stick mag versus this mag, though, I think you could probably get there. The thing that slows you down is the twist, because sometimes it gets gummed up, but the more I use this mag, the more it's really starting to work more smoothly. I think it's kind of starting to wear in a little bit nicely. That's about all I have for you guys today on the PP-19 Bizon, aka the Stizon. Again, parts list down below. Is it a range toy? Yeah, maybe. Is it cool as hell? Absolutely, though. And I think once you get all the kinks worked out, and I might even clean up that lever a little bit, it's just a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's something unique, something different, and that's something I think we all yearn for in the market nowadays. So thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, if you have any questions, if you have any issues, reach out to Stuff for Things Inc. first. Now, if you have any issues, hit them down in the comments below, or any questions, hit them down there as well. I'll be happy to answer them for you. As always, train hard, especially nowadays. You never know what's coming. Take care of the ones you love. Those are the ones that really matter, and we'll see you guys in the next review. Oh, get some.